Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for some more patch notes for Avorion. This is 0.10.4.7565, and the biggest change here is going to be some bug fixes, but the major change is thrusters. There's a massive overhaul on thrusters. So he starts off talking about this is more of a feature beta. He wants to get some of the features out right now so you can get some feedback about it right away. So that's kind of important. Of course, there'll be more bug fixes on the way. So thrusters, he wants to start off with the most important topic, which has been nonstop a topic, especially once he started to change them to volumetric thrusters. So instead of it being the thinnest thrusters possible on the surface of your ships, now it's volume. So the bigger the thruster is, the better the thrusters are. That's sort of how it is going to be for now on. But there's even more changes to that since the last patch notes I had read. So the most important topic was your feedback on the thrusters. Change has been pretty clear. A few words from my side, the whole situation. Avorion is not a hardcore sci-fi, but still has Newton physics. So you go this way, and then you flip your ship 180, you still go that way. Now, Newton physics also means that if you burn your thrust to turn, like you turn, and your thrust adjusts slightly, so you do any kind of thrusting at all, technically your ship will drift a bit off, so you won't be able to flip 180 exactly, but I don't think that happens in this game. I think you can flip without the effect of the thrust, unless if you touch any of your your thruster keys basically at that point. The physics are somewhat simplified, so you can build for style. Example, engines apply their force anyways at the middle of the ship, otherwise the ship would fly in circles and it's not perfectly symmetric. So that's a good point. If your thrusters were not in the perfect area, you just go, let's just say you have this big box of a ship, right? A big box. Actually, let's use this. We got some black pepper here. You see this? And let's say I put the thruster right here, like the engine. Actually, let's say the engine's right here. If you put the engine here and it applies it with all this mass here, it would just go like this basically. All over time, it would just spin because of the way the mass is pushing here. Just like in real life, you take this and you push this here, if you pushed it hard enough, it would fly upwards slightly. And that's with gravity on the planet. Just imagine without the gravity force trying to assist it, it would be a lot different. But anyways, you get the idea. I want players to feel the physics without giving them too much of a headache when it comes to shipbuilding. But you also have to understand it's actually suicide to burn through an asteroid with a speed of 500 plus meters a second, which is actually 1,800 kilometers an hour or 1,120 miles per hour. Breaking a ship with such speed should take a while. It doesn't want to. I don't want it to instant stop. You don't have the proper equipment. I understand that, but at the same time, it's like I want it to stop right now. But I understand them. That being said, I introduced a new block in this patch, directional thrusters. They work like normal thrusters, have the same power, but all their power is directed into a single direction. They are not as ugly as the other thruster variant, since they only have holes on the one side, and you can still cover up the holes, and they will still work. Remember, simplified physics, so you can build for style. Pretty sure these thrusters will cover your needs, and they should behave a lot clearer than the uniform thruster variant. Flight physics. As stated above, the physics of Avorion is somewhat simplified. They're easier to handle, but that also leads to a few situations and feels wonky. I revisited the code and removed a lot of flight simulation simplifications. No! As stated above, I read that part. The bad news is that means that flying will feel a little different at first. You'll see more drifting. So air hockey time, the air hockey where you hit the puck on it and it kind of floats on there. If you've ever played with one, you can feel the puck, you kind of touch it. You can really feel the air blowing on it, but it has that really agile move to it. So this will cause some headaches for people, that's for sure. That's why I kind of call it the air hockey. This means it'll feel different. Drifting might feel slower, but I've given you the tools, directional thrusters, so you can work out With some work on your ships, you should be able to get a great flight feel again. The good news is that the flight physics will feel a lot more real, and the retrograde burn won't make the ship glitch out of place anymore, and will work a bit better. So I think retro burn is when you do a 180 and flip your ship and try to push against the thrust. The way it was working now is basically when you flipped, your ship would, sometimes it would help retro burn, but a lot of times it would just go like this. I think it just wouldn't go up. That's if that's what retro burn means. I might be completely wrong. I'm not trying to state, I know everything here. But it was pretty messy. He's added a retrograde marker that you can enable for this. And also the engines are more powerful. They had some restraints before, so careful if you build tons of engines. Also, I'll monitor the forms closely to give feedback. Blah, blah, blah. So the biggest change outside of all that is server browser. If you guys didn't know, there is a server browser now. So I could go to multiplayer, browse servers, and boom, there's a bunch of servers up. And look at that. Where's Stone Legion? Our server doesn't even show up on the here. We suck that much, huh? That's good to know. I never expected us to be a good server at all. That's weird. I'm surprised by that. I think it's just not showing our player count for some reason. Yeah, it never shows the player count. It just says 0. Don't ask me. We don't get that, feature on our server. Anyways, some issues there. I'll probably have to figure that out. Gameplay. Added a new directional thruster block. Directional thrusters have the same power as other thrusters, but in a single direction. This allows you to build specialized thrusters of any shape. Ooh, thrusters effects for directional thrusters are slightly bigger. The overhauled thruster engine flying drift physics. Flip 180 and burn the opposite direction works as intended now. Oh, beautiful. Improved turning and drifting physics, more realistic, less glitchy. Thrusters are more powerful. Still not as powerful as engines, but 65%. Thrusters use up more energy. Unchained engines, no more artificially reduction of acceleration. Max velocity remains untouched. So you've seen that all the time on my Let's Play. I'd be going, and then all of a sudden I'm getting forced down back to a cap, and then it starts going a lot slower. But that cap in between there, where it would slow it down quite faster, probably got removed. So that kind of actually is good and bad, because if you're hoping to slow down, well, it might have helped a bit before. Now it's going to help a lot less. Thrusters use up energy. Unchained. We talked about that. Player ships steer more precisely. Nice. Improved visual of thrusters. Multiplayer added the server browser. Added password protection to servers. Password can be specified in the server.ini file. Improved changing of the core port for servers. So maybe that I can fix because mine's not working. Connecting the servers with different query ports is possible now. When the server is running on, say, blah, 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 with a blah, 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 use the blah, blah, blah to connect to it. Okay, so it's just basically telling you can connect using the Steam ports and stuff like that if you want to do that from the direct connect, I guess. Server implemented reconstruction of faction index from files on error. This might take some time on the first server start, but this should fix the problem with new players being created whenever they relog into the server. Unfortunately, that is not working for somebody because we just tested that. Bad, unparsable IPs removed from IP blacklist on startup, only important if you change the file by hand. Implemented adding an IP blacklist Steam network server clients, fixed an exploit related to chat, fixed the server crash when receiving unknown packets, added a warning message when potentially dangerous port configurations are detected. Miscellaneous clients waiting for the server to start up in single player before it connects leads to less server unreachable errors if the server startup takes some time. UI fixed a buggy breaking thrust stats in the build mode. Added display for center of mass in the build mode. Added a preview for the thruster holes in the build mode. Added retrograde marker for ships enabled in the game settings. Some very long tooltips are less wide. Lists have a tiny scroll bar. So that's like, for example, permissionless. You guys had problems on the server. That should be fixed. Bug fixes. Fixed a crash when loading corrupted player. Faction files. Fixed an issue with TCP connections. Not resolving IPs correctly. Bug fix related to beta branch. Fixed a few issues in the build mode related to the new repair mode. Beautiful. That is awesome. That's a good set of changes, and there's probably going to be more before it's live for everyone. I don't think it's live yet. I just want to double check. Sometimes I'm recording this stuff and it's out to the public. No, it is not out to the public. The last public one was 13 days ago. People are playing on the beta branch. You just right-click your Avorion Steam icon in the Steam library, and you can go to the very last, make sure Steam's off, very last tab, and you should be able to click the beta branch if you'd like to play that right away and give it a try. Make sure you back up your save data. That's always the best thing to do, because you might be doomed and screwed if you don't. Either way, thank you guys and girls so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and we will see you wonderful people next time.